All right, we're going to talk about the memoir unit, a little bit of review. So be ready, take some notes, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Boom. First thing, look for details. When you're doing writing a memoir or you're identifying details in a memoir, you want to use details that, of course, back up what you're trying to say. So, for example, if you are trying to showcase that your mother is a kindly woman, or that your father uh, was someone that always tried to spend time with you, you'd want to use details that showcase that as opposed to just simply talking about what your dad looks like, or talking about all of the chores that your mother does at home or the job that your mother has, that has nothing to do with how kindly she is or how much time your father gives. So remember details. Think about what the purpose is, what's being asked for. Aphorisms, those proverbs or wise sayings, such as necessity is the mother of invention. You will again be given some aphorisms. You got to tell me what they mean. Necessity is the mother of invention. Things are created when there's a need for them. Necessity leads to invention, basically. Um, Fact and opinion. Know the difference between that. There are over 7 billion people on the earth. That's a fact. With that many people, the earth is way too crowded and something should be done about it. Some people might say, well, that's a fact. No, that's an opinion. It might be an opinion backed up by a lot of facts, but it's still somebody's opinion. It's not um, provable per se. Theme. Remember, as you're dealing with the idea of theme, and we've talked about theme seeds, meaning or message behind the story, what is uh, in a memoir, what is the final reflection? What is the author trying to say about his experience or her experience, and what he or she learned about life, about anything about fear, family, love, hate, relationships. What did that person glean or take from the experience and looking back on the experience? And in a memoir, that's where we're going to see that development of theme. Remember transitional language. We've talked a little bit about it. It's going to be very important in your memoir because you're talking about a chronological incident from beginning to end. So it's going to, first this happened, a little later on, after a little while, it's going to connect one supporting idea in a paragraph to a new idea. Um, Despite the fact that I did not have the best day of the world, I went home and tried to make the best of it, or to see a break in the sequence of events in order to flash back maybe to an earlier moment where you're setting something up, and then I remembered earlier that year when my family took the vacation to Yellowstone, and all of the beautiful trees and the flowers and the bison and blah, 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 blah. So language that lets us know that we're going back in time, that we're coming forward in time. That's what this transitional language will allow us to do, where we are in the story. Wow. All right, let's keep going. Figurative language. Well, we have figures of speech, right? Similes. The drive was like a never-ending nightmare. That comparison between two unlike things using like or as. The metaphor. Time is a thief. It's not like a thief. It's not as a thief. It's not as mean as a thief or as devious as the thief. It is that to be verb, the is verb here. Oftentimes we'll see that as the connector in a strong metaphor. Hyperbole, that exaggeration to make a point. I have a million things to do. If you did, you would die before you got through the first 10,000. That just means what? You have got a lot on your hands. You got a lot to do. Personification, giving human qualities like crying to the sky, which tells us that it is raining, or the shadows leaned down along the street. The shadows can't lean because they don't have legs and a body, but we get the sense that they are angles. They are angled and coming down from one building onto another or onto the street. All right. And sensory imagery touches upon one or more of the senses, like sight. And the yellow half moon, large and low, we can see it, the color and where it is on the horizon. The smell, Then a mile of warm, sea-scented beach. We know what that is, that salty smell. I might even bring that up. Touch, the quick, sharp scratch. Oh, and that word scratch reminds me. So all of those connect to one or more of the senses, and that's sensory imagery, strong sensory imagery that connects to the reader. All right, so that's the end of part one. We will have part two here shortly.